Stephen Melnick.
I'm John so much.
Welcome to Coming Soon, the movie review show. Today is a rather special episode because we just attended the True False Film Festival in downtown Columbia. True False Film Festival, of course, is probably the fastest rising documentary film festival in the country, and it's marked by really incredible selection of very fine documentary films and great documentary filmmakers. How many films did you end up seeing?
I ended up seeing 7 this weekend. I could have seen more, but I decided I've had enough. But excellent selection, like you said, this year. Very, very compelling films, I thought. Excellent films in general.
Yeah, I saw 8. Schedule constraints prevented me from seeing 2 more. Those included homework. So certain concessions had to be made for this, but we still managed to compile our lists of the top films of True False that we saw. And so we're going to give you our list. John's got top 3, I've got top 5, but John, do you want to give me your first 2 picks, and then I'll give you first 4, and then we'll switch off for 1.
All right. I'd say my third pick, the third best one I saw, was Wasteland, about Jardim Gramache, the largest garbage dump in the world, which is located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's, oddly enough, an exceptionally beautiful film. The cinematography is incredible. You look down, they have these panoramas of the cities the city to open it, which is beautiful, but then you look in on this garbage and you're awestruck that something that is so putrid could be really, it could be so beautiful. And the beauty continues throughout it. These people are exceptionally beautiful. They're so proud to be doing something that we would never think anybody would take any pride in. They paid horrible wages, they work in horrible conditions, they constantly find dead bodies and things like this, but they're exceptionally proud to be working here. It was a phenomenal experience to watch this, but the entire point of it was this Brooklyn artist who grew up in Rio de Janeiro. He went back and he did portraits of the pickers, is what the workers are called. He did portraits of them in the actual garbage, and he photographed them from above. It's exceptional. My second pick then is Rachel Is, which is about a Pittsburgh teenager who is, she's mentally retarded, but just this exceptional innocence about her makes it, I'd say, the most enjoyable film of the festival.
Okay, moving right along, my number 5 pick of True False is And Everything Is Going Fine, which is a sort of biopic documentary of Spalding Gray, who is a comedian and actor. It's a documentary directed by Steven Soderbergh, who's most famous for making the Ocean's 11 films. And Traffic, his best is Traffic. He's actually a very good director. He has his ups and downs, but this he made basically as a tribute to his friend Spalding Gray. And it's really an extraordinary film in many ways because it's basically constructed out of Gray's self-deprecating but very funny and viciously truthful monologues that he delivered in comedy shows throughout the years. And it's arranged intercutting between different shows to give basically a full account of his life. It's a documentary autobiography, posthumous, of course, but it's really quite funny, hilarious at points, and it's an excellent film. It doesn't pretend to be any more than it is. Number 4, Enemies of the People, which is about a man whose family was killed by the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, and he goes around to try to get to the truth. Not the truth of who did it. He knows who did it, but the truth of why they were doing it, and what the rationale was, and what was really going on. And he gains the trust of Pol Pot's second in command, of the dictator's second in command, to try to get this truth. And it's not an entirely even film, but it's stunningly beautiful at times, and there are moments of incredible emotional truth. One of the lower down. It's one of the soldiers who, was doing the actual killing. Says, looking back on what he did, that he doesn't know how many times he's going to have to be reincarnated before he can be a human again, and that was one of the most powerful moments in the festival this year. Number 3 on my list, Restrepo, which is basically the premise is you have filmmakers coming down and filming a period in the lives of soldiers in the most dangerous war zone in Afghanistan. It was a masterpiece of verisimilitude. Number 2, The Oath, which is a film that will be almost universally misinterpreted. It isn't trying to raise sympathy for terrorists, although it is an intimate look at a man who was formerly the personal bodyguard of Osama bin Laden and is still a fairly committed jihadist. But it's an incredible character study, in fact, of a man who lives in contradictions, whose every word may be true, may be duplicitous. And it tells his story along with the story of his brother-in-law who is imprisoned in Guantanamo. It's really quite an extraordinary film and a fascinating character study of a really fascinating man. That concludes my countdown to number 2. What is your number 1 of True False?
My number 1 was actually Restrepo. I thought
it would be.
It was, in my opinion, the most emotionally true film to me. You have these parts in it where you see these characters. You see characters. I refer to them as characters.
Yeah.
These are actual men with children or with mothers and fathers, siblings. And you get lost in that, hearing it in the news. You hear that 18 men were killed.
Yeah.
But here you see the man die. You see how his platoon reacts to this. And there are these poignant moments where it's just the men talking against a black background to the camera. And you can see in their eyes, you can see all the emotion that can never be conveyed to the layman through the news or anything like that. This is an environment where there's nothing but war and these men that face it every day. And I thought that was incredible.
It was an extraordinary film, and I didn't appreciate it quite as much as you, and I'm a little helpless to explain why. This may be one that I'll have to revisit later when it does inevitably come out on DVD.
It'll be back at the race.
I certainly did think it was an incredible film. My number 1 pick is a sort of socially significant one, but one that I thought was really a minor masterpiece. Smash His Camera, which is about Ron Galella, who's really the godfather of the paparazzi, and he essentially he's a very weird guy. He's very passionate about his work as well. He still develops his photos in his own darkroom and meticulously makes sure that the lighting is right in them. And he still goes on the sort of old-fashioned method of the art of the paparazzo, in which he actively pursues his celebrity quarry. And it's a great film because it's a character study in many ways of a really weird but really fascinating guy. But it's also rip-roaringly funny, and it's an incredible sort of minor masterwork in just the sustaining of tone. It manages to create a tone and keep it throughout the entire film. This was certainly the most satisfying film for me that I saw at True False. By the end, I thought, that really worked. And it was very close in my book between this and The Oath for my favorite, but this won out just because of that, just because it managed to create that tone and go straight for home with it, and it never took a wrong step. So, and that actually officially concludes our True False Film Festival coverage.